Hello everybody, Tom from Overland Transportation System back at you. I've done a couple videos now and I'm starting to get used to the editing, and so today I decided I would introduce you to my Twin Falls N-scale model railroad layout. Most of my stuff is packed away. I did manage to drag out a couple engines and some freight cars and clean the track. So we're gonna do just a little short run today and introduce the layout. So let's get to it. Okay, everybody, I'm going to introduce you to my N-scale Twin Falls layout. As you can see right in front of you now, the river basin, and this is where this freelance New England model railroad gets its name. It's from the Twin Falls. We got one falls right here, and if we slowly pan across the little lagoon, we got the second falls that come out of this rock territory down here. So this is where I got the name of the Twin Falls Model Railroad. I'm going to back out nice and slow and just kind of show you some of the landscape that we have here. This railroad is N-scale, and it is 13 feet long by 3 foot wide on one end, 4 feet wide on the other. It has rolling bed casters on the bottom so that it can be rolled around. And if you watch my previous video called Goby and Pinky with my fish tanks, that was the area that this railroad used to live. When we ripped out our carpet and put in a simulated wood floor, this model railroad got rolled out into the screen porch, which is going to be the home of my new layout shortly down the road. And it's been out here in the weather in a screen house ever since, and it has been slowly deteriorating, and that's why you see no structures hardly, very little rolling stock. The trees are starting to fall down, and where the glue has softened from the humidity down here in Florida. And but I did decide to drag out some trains today and do a little bit of just a run by, and so we will pan around. This area right here was going to be my one city scene that was never even began. This area right in through here was all going to be city and city street and businesses and stuff, and I never did get to that part yet. And once I expand my new layout, this will either get rolled out into my workshop, and I will continue it, or I will dismantle it, maybe even finish it and sell it. I really don't know. This layout is all Atlas Code 80 flex track with Atlas switches. It is a DC layout. Someday I need to jump the fence and get into DCC and learn all about that. But this is old school. Your plywood, ribbon road bed, and just plain Atlas flex track, sorry there, and ground throws. There are a couple manual throws up in the back, but for the most part it's all ground throws. This area right in through here is where I usually park all my engines, and then this here is all my yard area. I've just put together a string of cars today just so we can do a little bit of a run by, and I can show you the layout in operation. And so we're just going to continue to pan around. Down in here I have access into my tunnels, so if I ever have a derailment or dirty track or whatever, I can get to that. And just pan around to the back here, another access, and back around to the scenic side. Now what I got here is a scenic divide going down through the middle, and one half the layout is just this small industrial area. I got a couple industries up here in the mountain that there are no longer any buildings, as you can see. But that was all the little switching area I had. And of course, right down in here where I had my team track. And this is where I got a couple engines parked today. And we got 2 RS3s today. We've got a D&H headed up with a Boston and Maine. And so let's head them out and see if it's going to run. Okay, folks. Okay, here she goes. Okay, sorry about that very fast pan there. Being it is a DC system, and I'm trying to work the camera in one hand and the switches in the other, it's quite a balancing act. Down here I got to throw this ground throw switch so that we continue on the main line. There she comes, okay. You can follow this train around. I'll try to pan slow and keep up with the train. I need to slow it down. Okay. Alright, it's in the tunnel. So now I can throw this ground switch right here. Okay, and we're going to back up this lead and we're going to pick up this string of cars. Okay, so here we're down here. As you can see, here's my switches for my yard. These switches power up each of these tracks. These switches power up all where my engines are parked. And these switches power my actual yard switches that I don't want to use ground throws on. Okay, so let's throw this into reverse. Give it some juice. And now we're going to back up into the yard. Okay, and she's connected. Okay, now just like Ed at Eagle Valley Model Railroad, I too use magnets underneath my track. I need to get with Ed on the side and ask him to give me a little further demonstration on exactly how he does his magnets, because mine are a little larger, and mine come from excuse me, Radio Shack, and I bury them in the sub-road bed. And I like the way Ed had the nice little round ones that he puts between the ties, and they seem to work actually even a little better than mine. Mine work so well to the point, like you just saw there, if you do back over them and you don't have enough strain, they will separate your cars before you want them to. So I'm going to try to rehook that string. Okay, I'm going to try to go forward and pull this whole string out without getting disconnected. Let's see how we do. Okay, gotta go back and catch that EL car. Okay. Let's see what's going on there. It might be stuck right on a magnet, actually. Yeah, it is. As you can see, here's the magnet underneath the track. It's two magnets that actually split the rails, and they cause the polarity of the couplers to swing in both directions. So I'm gonna move in the giant finger, and we're gonna move this string forward, make our connection. Okay, we're over the magnet, and it looks like we got everything connected. Let's see if we can now pull out the string. Forward. And we got a good connection. Throw this ground throw back to the main. I've painted the throw bars green on one side for the main and red for the turnout. Okay. We'll wait on this train to come around the bend and then we'll follow it around. DC and no sound, folks. Okay, folks, I just stopped the train for a moment to show you a couple identical tank cars. I did not enter Ron's and weathering contest from Ron's Trains and Things, but this is two identical tank cars that I weathered quite a while ago. Stuff has been packed away. I was lucky to get to this stuff to run it today, but I just wanted to show you what can be done in N scale as far as doing some weathering. I don't know if this picture will crispen up or not. It'd be nice if it would. It doesn't look like it's going to, unless I back too far away. But there's a couple before and after of a couple weathered cars that I've done, and the rest of the cars on here are all new out of the box. I don't have anything weathered out here on the track today, although I do have a number of weathered and custom painted stuff, but as I say, a lot of this stuff is packed away. I can't even get to it. Alright, so I'm gonna now tell you a little more about the layout. The train's parked, so I'll just shut her down. I'll show you one feature about this layout, how I do interchange. Okay, this here is my interchange leg, and this is in pretty poor condition right now from being out here. You can see it's all loose. But what I do for interchange is I have this spring-loaded hinge, and this little piece of block stays in place. Down in here, right now it's all open, but I have wooden train boxes, and I have one here that I can show you. Here is one of my wooden train boxes. Okay, and I've built a whole bunch of these, and they slide right on that shelf, and that's as far as you can push them in. And I've color coded them for various reasons, so I can look at a glance and I can tell what kind of cars they are. For the most part, a blue end is box cars, red is reefers, and various stuff like that. And to make use of this interchange, I take the box, and I'm going to try to do this one-handed switching the camera around here. This box fits perfectly in those grooves, okay? And I don't think the track is lined up at this time because this got tore up. But in this position right here, the car is weighted to the rear, and it does not go forward until I put a little pressure here, and then it will roll out. Okay, as you can see, it didn't line up, so it didn't go out. Normally this would roll straight out and onto this rear railer. As you can see, it's in pretty poor condition right now. It would roll onto the rear railer, and I would back an engine up with a handling flat car, and it would grab hold of this car and pull it out onto the layout, or I can take cars out of this yard and take them off the layout. And with a limited space on the railroad that I have, this is how I can make use of over 100 pieces of rolling stock by cycling them onto this little shelf down below here. So this here is how I do my interchange. Okay, I want to show one other thing before I cut this off, and this is for Dave and the Crooked River. Dave picked up some ground throws, and he was wondering how he had to build some sort of a mechanism to make use of them. And so I spoke to him about bending piano wire and making the ground throws work. So I'm gonna zoom in on some of these ground throws, specifically for Dave, just to give him an idea how I do. Okay, Dave, here's a ground throw, and here's just a little piece of piano wire. And I take a little pin vise and I drill a small hole into the throw bar. Then the piano, and I take the nub off of the ground throw, and I drill a hole in that throw bar. And so this is how I control the throw on my switches with that same manual ground throw that you have and a small piece of piano wire. And this is how I've done all of them, Dave. You can see right here, just a small piece of piano wire, and I can throw all my switches that way. And again, I paint the throw bar green for the main and red for the diverging route. Alrighty, guys. I think that's about it, what I want to show you today. At a future video, what we'll do is maybe some switching up into the mountain area. I need to make sure that track is good and clean so I don't have any stalls in the tunnel. And we'll call this a wrap, and I'll do some editing and hopefully put this up today. Okay, so again, this is Tom from the Overland Transportation System, and we'll catch you later.